Hey YouTube, this is Vasu. Welcome to my channel Sit Shift, aka Situation Shift. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about 5 books that changed my life. Literally changed my life. These are books that were difficult to put down. I have literally stepped into a flight holding a book, and by the time the flight landed, my mind was blown. I know many of you out there are looking for good books to read to get you connected. I hope at least one of them is going to give you that kind of feeling. So let's get started. I am sharing these books in the sequence that I read them in. I love all of them equally, so there is no preference as such. But the first one is called Many Lives, Many Masters. It is by Dr. Brian Weiss, who is a renowned psychiatrist and also someone who was very skeptical about writing this book, which makes it very interesting because he talks about incarnation or reincarnation. So one of his patients was anxious, very anxious, and was not able to heal herself through some of the traditional methods that are out there. So through this book he shares his experience with her. So she accesses her past lives, she heals her traumas, and you get to understand how traumas affect you even in your current life. There are so many examples here that I could pick up a couple of them for myself as well, and I was wondering if I had something to do with my past lives. This also helps you understand that many of the people who are with you in this life have been with you in previous lives. So anyone who needs closure, especially for departed family members or friends or loved ones, this is very soothing to you. Again, I would say read this with an open mind, because the thoughts in this, the author understands that you will be skeptical while reading them. This is not something that is talked about very openly. Yet, because so many people are trying this book out, they are trying past life regression and they are healing, this book has become very powerful. Okay, so the second book is called Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. While we talked about past lives, this is also written by a psychiatrist who works with hypnotherapy. He was not skeptical. He in fact had a lot of cases that people willingly came to him to explore what happens after you die or before you are born. So we go to heaven as per this book. We have an entire process out there. We decide which life we want to take up. We want to be a painter, you want to be an artist, a struggling artist, you want to be a billionaire. You pick out that life. It is not by chance. That is the biggest lesson from this book that I got. Other than that, you understand from this book that there are many levels for each soul. So for instance, if you meet somebody and you realize that they are beyond their years, they are very mature, it's because they are an advanced soul. That's what the author calls them. Likewise, if you meet someone who is very immature, it could be because they are a beginner soul. This book talks about why you choose the kind of life you choose. It talks about looking at karma from a more positive perspective instead of thinking karma is always the bad guy. There's also a lot of emphasis given to spirit guides, or that simple saying, someone is watching over you. Who that someone is, how they play a role in your life. You might be someone's spirit guide. I have recommended this book to so many people, it is not even funny. It has to be one of my favorites all time. Do check it out. Okay, next let's try something different. So let's talk about Anatomy of the Spirit. This is by Caroline Myss. Okay, so what this book talks about is using 7 chakras or 7 energy centers to heal yourself, and it is placed purely out of logic. So the more you are able to understand why you have limiting beliefs, why you have these angers and negative energy blocks, the more easily you will be able to release them. She has quoted a lot of examples. It also talks about a lot of religious scriptures that are out there, but interestingly she does not promote any religion. She just says and summarizes and compares all of the religions and makes you realize that you can heal your body just by focusing on everything that is written inside of this book. Like, I cannot praise this book enough. It is a must-have. Okay, next, this is Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. For anyone who has tried the law of attraction, and has failed to manifest things, including myself, this book is the go-to. It is very logically explaining to you how you tap into yourself. So you don't put out messages to the universe, you don't put it to a divine God, you put it to yourself, you tap into yourself, into your power. This person also happens to be someone who holds workshops about what he's teaching inside of this book. It's a very simple concept, and he explains how you can manifest, how you can build your own affirmations. It's more like a self-help or motivational book, and I think all of us are struggling with money or relation or career. Apparently, you can live life very simply if you can obey what is written inside of this book. It seems pretty promising. I am trying a couple of things for myself as well, and things seem to be more positive for me, so that is why I highly recommend it. Written with a lot of great analogies also, by the way, so good stuff here. Last but not the least, Conversations with God. This happens to be a very humorous book. By the name of it, you might think it is religious, but that's quite the opposite here. Not exactly bashing God, not bashing any religions that are out there, but this book makes you realize that many of the laws that we follow and the rules that man has made are not what God preaches. It's a simplified version of looking at God. And like I said, it is not religious. For instance, it answers very simple questions such as, why does God not intervene when such atrocities are happening? And how can you call such a world perfect? How can you love people who do such horrible things? The conviction with which all of those things are answered, I can tell you that it will change your mind. It will give you something to think about. It will form a very strong perception about how you look at the world. I keep this book last, but I want you to definitely put this first on your list if you can, because it is a continuous process. This book will be with you. If you resonate with it, you will actually follow it for life. That is how brilliantly it is written. So this is part 1. I am looking forward to reading the other parts as well. That concludes 5 of the books that made an impact. I hope that you got something interesting out of this. If you did, feel free to drop a comment down below and like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye.